Hi, Shea Hulse here. If you don't know me, I am a wife and mom of two, and I help entrepreneurial women master their mindset and build a successful online business without sacrificing time with their loved ones so they can live their dream life. And so today I want to talk to you about how to handle depression in a more positive way. So the reason for today's post, number one, I thought it was a little funny that, I talk about how to improve your life, but I never really talked about the root cause of a lot of why I decided to go after living my best life and why I decided to, completely change my life around, and how last week I talked about how becoming an entrepreneur kind of saved me from some of my worst fears, which was living a life not meant for me. But the second reason is because I saw a meme. If you're not on my email list, please join my email list. And the email that was sent out this past Monday was a meme that I saw. And it was a woman at the doctor, and she said to her doctor said to her, how often do you feel depressed? And the woman's like, oh, every day or whatever, don't you? And the doctor's answer was like, no. And I thought it was very funny because, I guess as someone that has suffered from depression, that often suffers from depression, that generally hated life for a very long time, that's a very funny concept to me, because it does kind of feel like that, especially when you are someone that is going through it all the time. You think that everyone must go through it, right? I mean, just one of those things. My grandmother, her eyes, whenever she would blink when she was a kid, they would bob. She thought that was normal. It's not normal. If yours do, go to the doctor. But that was something that was interesting. It was a medical condition. She got fixed. She has Marfan syndrome, but just a funny anecdote. Probably completely irrelevant, but interesting nonetheless. But the third reason is because I just wrote my book, Firelies. Here it is. I think it's beautiful. It's a romance book with magic and mystery and sarcasm and all that stuff. And I love it so very much. And I hope that you would love it too. I hope you grab a copy right now and let me know what you think of it. But a lot of the book talks about the things that I have personally gone through in a fun, lighthearted manner. But again, I thought that I owed it to you to describe a little bit about what I was going through at that time, what I have gone through, and what inspired me to write about it and how I overcame it. And so the book is a fun way to talk about it, but this is the real way to talk about it, the less fun way to talk about it, the way to discuss depression in a manner that maybe makes you uncomfortable, because I know it was uncomfortable for me for a very long time, those feelings, but I eventually did break out of it, and I eventually did learn how to embrace all that life has to offer and let go of all the things that did not serve me and embrace the things that do serve me. And that is the majority of everything that I talk about. So what is depression? Depression is feelings of hopelessness, feelings of sadness, irritability, sleeplessness, sleeping too much, eating too little, eating too much. What else is it? Anger, frustration. It is feeling like you just are stuck in a hole that you can't get out of. And sometimes when you're in the hole, you're just like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to stay here forever. And you give up hope of ever getting out of that hole. Or you seek thrills and you seek escapism and you seek out reckless behavior that will make you feel alive, if only for a few brief moments before you sink back into depression. So those are kind of the ranges of depression. So if you have depression, please go see a doctor. I am not a doctor. I am not a licensed professional whatsoever. I'm just someone that has suffered from it, and I hope that my experience can help you in some way, shape, or form. And so why did I suffer from depression for so long? So a lot of reasons. I mean, everyone has something. I've talked about internal family systems. I've talked about living a life that wasn't really meant for me because that's what people told me to do. I've talked about trauma. Everyone has something. I'm not gonna put my family members on blast, but some of them are why. Everyone has it. Let's just call it what it is. But I think the biggest reason for the longest time was just that I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted, and I didn't know how to get what I wanted or where to even start. And it took a lot of really bad things that happened that led me to where I am now, which is a much happier person, less depressed, still occasionally, and more fulfilled and just able to embrace even the ups and downs of life in a much healthier manner. And I hope that I can help you do the same. So I want to talk about some of the ways that helped me embrace getting out of depression, and even when I was in the deepest depression, some of the healthier habits that helped me deal with those negative emotions in a healthier way. So obviously we have to talk a little bit about the unhealthy manners, which is again escapism, just kind of avoiding responsibility, avoiding eating, avoiding sleeping, avoiding drinking water, avoiding taking care of yourself. And obviously the direct reflection of that is to, yes, start small, drink a glass of water right now, go grab a healthy snack, try to get more sleep, maybe take some melatonin. You know, again, I'm not a doctor. And some of those things. Another way that you sometimes try to handle depression in an unhealthy manner is taking risks, especially unnecessary risks, speeding, or I don't know, cheating on a test, or because you didn't study, because you were too depressed and you didn't sleep and you were out partying all night. You know, those kinds of behaviors. We're not going to get too into them. My husband and I are 4 years sober as of a few months ago. So we're 4+ years sober now. And the way to handle that's a little bit trickier, but you really have to identify the problem before you can begin to fix it. So identifying the problem means, where does your depression come from and how can you fix it? So depression is tricky. I mean, it can come from many different ways. It can come from loss of a job, loss of a loved one, loss of hope, loss of sense of self, loss of love, trauma. Pray to God, but no abuse. But that is definitely a cause. Many loss of money. And I know that right now a lot of people are probably dealing with depression, especially with the way that the world is right now. There's a lot happening. But if it's normal everyday life stuff, or let's say heightened everyday life stuff, that could be depression. But there is also depression that comes from actual diagnoses. Maybe you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, bipolar, schizophrenia, other types of mood disorders. So definitely go see a professional to get help with that, to help understand where your depression is coming from, or if there's any underlying medical health issues that need to be addressed before you can get better. But this is still hoping to help you cope with those negative feelings, no matter what the root cause is. And so some of those things is, just taking care of yourself. That was the biggest thing I can honestly say that really started to help with my depression, was just that I took inventory. I looked around the room, I looked at myself, and all those things I didn't like about myself or didn't like about the room I was in, just slowly starting to change that. And so, again, drinking a glass of water, I never had a great complexion. Drinking more water every day is going to help with that. And then once you're drinking more water, you're going to start feeling better. And when you start feeling better, you can start eating better food. And the food and the water is going to help increase the happy chemicals in your brain, which is going to increase the chance or the likelihood or the momentum for you to do better things later. And then furthermore, take care of your body, right? So you're taking care of your internal body, you're eating right, you're drinking water, exercising. Exercise is huge in the mental health game, at least for me. I mean, and if you can't do much, do what you can. And again, seek out a professional. But then once you have all of that kind of working for you, then you have to start focusing on the external. And you could do silly things on the outside. Paint your nails. You can do a different hairstyle. You can change your outfit. You can do any sort of those types of things, right? But even more than that is you can, really take care of your physical appearance. So this was something that I didn't do for a long time, but you know, cut your nails every day, or do your eyebrows, or, you know, those kind of grooming things. That helps a lot in the mental health game. Because, you know, when you're super, super depressed, you don't feel like taking a shower. You don't feel like washing your hair. You don't feel like brushing your teeth. You don't feel like doing anything. At least I didn't. And then once you get yourself in order, you can look around the room and you can clean up those dust bunnies. You can organize that shelf. You can go through that closet and throw out stuff. And then you can make your bed. And then you can go to work on time. And then you can actually do your work or your school work or what have you. And a lot of those things is what helped me get out of the depression that I was in. And then once I really had that foundation established was when I was able to build on it and start building into meditation and yoga, guided meditations, daily gratitude, EFT tapping. That's a really fun one. And all of those other things that are going to really help, daily journaling. All of those things are going to help you get out of a negative mindset and out of your depression little by little. At least that's what helped me. And what really, really helped me at the end of the day was focusing on serving others. And so this is a key component here, you know, and that's why I mentioned my book, is just that I always knew I wanted to help people, but I never knew how, and I never knew what my true calling was, and I never really figured out what my passion was until recently. And all the ways I wanted to help people, it felt empty. It felt like I couldn't really make an impact. I couldn't really touch the lives of others. And it wasn't until I became an entrepreneur and I found out that, you know, I can just put out this content, let people find it, let people come to me, let me help them. And that really made a huge difference to me. And so when I wrote the book, I wrote about some of the things I've gone through: addiction, depression, anxiety, trauma, all those negative emotions, the internal family systems, and how I kind of got out of them in a really fun way. Because that's what I always went to. That's what I always leaned on heavily when I was super depressed, was books. More specifically, you know, Jenna Ivanovich and Patricia Briggs, and let's see, Stephanie Meyer, and George R.R. Martin, and who's the one I just lost? J.K. Rowling. All of those fantasy authors that are able to intertwine moral lessons, problems in life in a fun way that makes you feel lighthearted and lifted up. And so when you're super deep in that depression, find what that passion is. How can you maybe make someone else's day a little bit brighter? And when you start making somebody else's day a little bit brighter, it makes yours a little bit brighter. And when you stop focusing so much on yourself, then you can really pull yourself out of that funk, because you can focus on and not ignore your own problems, not only focus on other people. You still have to take care of yourself. But just remembering that you are here, and if you could be a light for somebody else, that you should, and you can, and you will when you get there. So I hope that you found some value in this video today, and I hope that you're not super depressed, but if you are, I hope that these tips helped you. Please like this video, comment, and tell me what your favorite thing about this video was, and subscribe for more. Maybe share this video with someone that you know is also struggling. And before you go today, please be sure to grab a copy of my book, Firelies. It'll be down in the link below. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks. Bye.